This week's Sunday story is Medusa and Perseus. But as you might be aware, I am wearing a face mask. And as we know, face masks keep our identities safe and secret from those who might mean us harm. But these face masks will keep other people from harm. For example, stop us spreading all of our filthy germs. And so, if you go along to the Crafty Sisters Facebook page, you can get yourself a stylised mask made for as little as £3.50. Hang on a sec. That's better. Now, if you want to go and get yourself a nice cool face mask just like myself, then go along to the Facebook page of facebook.com/sewing-sisters-x3/, or go to the Instagram page at crafty8821 and get yourself a cool mask just like me. Okay, back to the storytelling. In the beautiful lands of Greece, in the city of Argos, in the time of King Perseus, there was a prophecy, and like most prophecies, Perseus was foretold to have his own life taken by his own grandson. And so, not wanting this to come to pass, he hid his own daughter, the beautiful Danae, away in a bronze chamber. Now, this wasn't going to stop Zeus, oh yes, naughty Zeus, from going into said chamber and impregnating Danae in his usual manner, although this time he was in the guise of a golden spring. 9 months later, a baby was born, and she named this baby Perseus. Now, Perseus, wanting to know exactly why there was crying coming from the chamber, stormed in there and demanded from Danae who did this, which of the gods did this. And after hearing it was actually Zeus, he couldn't deny the gods, he couldn't defy the gods either, so he wouldn't have his daughter or grandson killed. Nice king. And so he put them into a box, he forced them into a wooden box and then threw it out to the sea. For a day and a night, this box drifted until it came upon the island of Seriphos, where it was pulled in by a fisherman, a humble man by the name of Dictys. And Dictys, upon opening this box, after hearing the thudding and the crying of a child on the inside, was astonished to see the beautiful Danae and her son. And of course, being such a beautiful woman, Dictys got down to his knees and asked her to marry him there and then. Politely declining and thanking Dictys for his help, she was happy to raise her boy. And Dictys took them both in, and they lived in a mutual friendship. And he even treated Perseus as his own son, until he was a nice, strong, young, healthy man. Now, it turned out that Dictys had a brother, the king of Seriphos, Polydectes, who wanted Danae for himself, but he could never get close because thankfully Perseus was there, always, and strong enough to keep King Polydectes away. And let's be honest, Perseus didn't quite trust him, and quite right too. And so Polydectes, being the snidey and cunning individual that he was, made a plan. He would host the wedding banquet of Hippodamia, the Queen of Pisa. And he would invite everybody, all the guests, and ask to bring a wedding gift. But he would not ask Perseus. And so Perseus would have to fulfill the most dangerous and life-taking task he could think of. Come the day of the banquet, all the guests are invited to present their gifts to the wedding couple. And Perseus, of course, arrives not knowing that he was meant to bring a gift. To which Polydectes tells him, "Oh, Perseus, you haven't brought a gift for the wedding couple. You're just going to have to go and get one, won't you? And I know just the one. Go and bring us the head of Medusa." And at this, the court gasped in horror, for Medusa was one of the 3 Gorgons, the 3 sisters, who were said to have great wings, golden brazen claws, and that they had the ability to turn men into stone with their eyes. Medusa, however, was said to be mortal and she was cursed by Athena to have, instead of long hair, to have writhing snakes on her head. Perseus, angry and humiliated, made preparations to go off to find the cave of the Gorgons, said to be in the lands of Libya, to the west of Greece. And Polydectes, not knowing whose Perseus' father was, chuckled to himself, thinking, "Oh, good, Perseus is out of the way. That means I can go and get his mother to be my wife." Perseus was visited by the gods and given gifts to help him in his quest. From Athena, he was given a bronze shiny shield with a reflective surface. From Hephaestus, he was given a long sharp blade, the blade of which would cause any blow to be true. From Hermes, he was given the winged sandals which would give the gift of flight. And from Hades, he was given the helm of darkness, which would give the ability to make him invisible. And they gave him another gift, a bag with which to carry Medusa's head. And so, with these gifts, Perseus flew off to the west, to the Isles of Libya, until he came down into the cave of the Gorgons, and he took great care, because there were 3 in number: the mighty Stheno, the swift Euryale, and of course, Medusa herself. Using the shield to find his way around, he came upon the reflection of Medusa sleeping. Unlike the other Gorgons, Medusa was beautiful, save the snakes in her hair, which writhed and flicked their tongues out. And because they caught the scent of Perseus, they rose up and hissed, and so Medusa woke up. She looked around and took a weapon into her hands and called out, "Stranger, whoever you are, I imagine that you're here to take my life, if you can. But before we go into combat, know this. I was cursed by Athena for having been raped by Poseidon in her temple. I was one of her priestesses. And so if you can take my life, you be doing me a favor. But first you have to earn that favor." Not knowing where Perseus was, she swept forward, she swept left, she swept right, with a great blade. Being invisible, Perseus had the advantage, and with one swift stroke, he took off Medusa's head. And then something happened that he did not expect. As Medusa's body fell to the ground, the blood came pouring out and on to the earth. And from that blood rose 2 children of Poseidon and Medusa. A great white horse with wings, which then ran out and flew off, and the other was a giant man with a great golden sword, Chrysaor, who then ran off into the distance. Knowing that this was magic of the gods, Perseus found the head of Medusa. He took it into a bag very carefully, using the shield to make sure he wasn't looking directly into the eyes. He took the head into the bag, ran out of the cave, and flew off. Now, he was originally heading off homeward, back to the Isle of Seriphos, but something took him off course. Maybe it was the head of Medusa, because he ended up in the lands of Ethiopia. More accurately, he was in the kingdom of Perseus and Cassiopeia. Perseus and Cassiopeia had a daughter, Andromeda, who was beautiful, with long hair, ebony dark skin. And upon seeing her, Perseus desired her and fell in love with her instantly. Speaking with Perseus and Cassiopeia, he discovered this kingdom was being plagued by a monster from Poseidon, a monster called Cetus. And apparently this monster had been sent because Cassiopeia had the audacity to say that their daughter was more beautiful than the Nereids. who are nymphs of the sea. Hearing about this, Perseus agreed to take care of the monster, and he did. He fought quick and he fought true, and killed Cetus in a matter of blows. Maybe it was the head of Medusa. Maybe it was hearing from what Poseidon had done to Medusa. But either way, he felt some revenge was taken. And for his prize, he took the hand of Andromeda. And the problem here was that Andromeda, although now promised to Perseus, was originally promised to another man. And so Perseus went to this other man and pulled out the head of Medusa, turning him into stone instantly. And Perseus, knowing that he had to get back home, vowed that he would return and took off into the air, where he went up into the north of Libya, until he found a titan, a great titan, Atlas himself. Atlas and Perseus exchanged hot and dangerous words, and Perseus once again took out the head of Medusa and turned Atlas into stone. And this is why that the mountains of the north of Africa are called the Mountains of Atlas. After this was done, Perseus shot off into the air once again and flew all the way back to the Isle of Seriphos. Upon landing, Perseus was very angry to see that King Polydectes was grabbing hold of his mother, trying to claim her as his. And Perseus glared at the king, took open the bag, and said, "So, King Polydectes, send me on a quest, will we? Well, it just so happens that if you're trying to marry my mother, I've got the most perfect wedding gift for you." Realizing what her son was about to do, Danae closed her eyes. Before anybody else caught on, it was too late. Perseus had taken Medusa's head, aimed it at King Polydectes and the court, and turned them all into stone, except for his mother, who had her eyes closed. Once all the stone figures had been removed, Perseus gifted Dictys with the kingdom itself. But at this point, the gods had returned as well, and took their gifts from Perseus, and he gave them back gladly. When he gave Athena the bronze shield back, for his own reasons, and for reasons we will never know, he put the head of Medusa on top of the shield. What we do know is that the images of both Athena and Zeus have the symbol of Medusa's head upon their breastplates and their shields to keep them safe and protected. Did Perseus go back and marry Andromeda? Did Perseus go and take revenge for his evil grandfather? That's another story for another time.